Okay, hey, it's Andrea Proeber here with Great Expectations Realty. Okay, so some of you have been watching the market with us and kind of wondering what's going on right now. We've had a lot of crazy changes in the real estate market, at least here in Marion County, Central Florida area. I'm sure it's kind of gone a little bit crazy throughout the United States, but here, just to kind of explain what's going on briefly, right before COVID, we were already kind of having a housing crisis because we had so few houses built over the last decade. We really just didn't have any. It all just kind of stopped. So we had just so much that, needed to be used up, whatever. We really just didn't have anybody building. So, for, a good 10 years, no new houses were being built, but we had a lot of growth as far as jobs coming in and the city growing and changing. And so there was a lot of people moving to our area. We have pretty low taxes. We don't have any state tax. Property taxes are pretty low. We don't have snow. We really, we're kind of central state, so we don't really have the hurricane issues that you would have like right on the coast. And we have, aside from that, we also have a pretty inexpensive, because we don't have any coastline, we have pretty inexpensive houses here. So as compared to the rest of the state. So we did have a lot of growth. We had a lot of people moving here. And the issue is, once they started to build again, there was no way to catch up with the demand. There's just no way that the amount of builders we have here can possibly keep up with all of the people that are moving here. And we were kind of behind. Then, it was kind of a worry, but it was on the horizon, so it wasn't too bad, So then we had COVID. Okay, so you would think that would have kind of slowed down the buyers and slowed down the sellers, and, everything would have just kind of paused, like it did in so many different industries. That's not what happened. We still had, in fact, we actually had an increase of people moving to our area. We still had, like, the Amazon warehouse that they just built here opened right during the middle of quarantine because, of course, everybody was at home and they were buying stuff online. So, we still had jobs opening up like crazy. We still had people, in fact, because it kind of hit up north first, we kind of had more people moving down here. The problem is a whole slew of sellers didn't want buyers trekking through their house and bringing who knows what with them. They pulled their houses off the market, which I can't blame them for, at all. So that kind of made it a bigger problem. Most of those people are now slowly putting their houses back on the market, but at this point, it's like a feeding frenzy out there. It is ridiculous. If you have a house up for sale, it is just kind of crazy. It'll be sold. If it's reasonably priced, even if it's overpriced, it'll be sold fairly quickly. So with all that going on, we still have all these buyers pouring through. We've been busy the entire time in real estate. It's been a little insane. We also have a severe lack of rentals going on right now, because a large portion of the landlords, the homeowners that were renting out their properties, they had never intended to be landlords. They didn't want to be landlords. They were just doing a flip, and they got stuck with it about 2007. Those people have been stuck with these houses this whole time and just waiting for the market to come back, which is the wisest decision they could have made. Well, the market's come back. So now they're selling off those properties, which is great for them and great for the buyers, not so great for the tenants. So now we have a whole slew of people that are moving down here, don't necessarily want to buy right away because they don't know the area at all, or they haven't had their job long enough to purchase, or a whole host of other reasons that they cannot actually qualify to buy a house. And so they're wanting to rent, and there is literally nothing to rent to them. You think it's hard to buy a house? Try doing a rental right now. It's insane. So the rental prices have shot up astronomically. I mean, it's ridiculous. You cannot find a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for less than $1,000 right now. It just doesn't happen. So, and it's probably going to be closer to 1,500, truthfully. So, and that doesn't seem to be getting any better. That seems to be getting worse because the houses that are being built are immediately being purchased before they're even being completed, and they're being purchased by owner-occupant. So that's not really helping the tenants at all. So really good time to be a landlord, even with all of the, the rentals and stuff, with the coronavirus and having the evictions delayed and stuff, we really didn't have many tenants at all that couldn't pay their rent. There were a few, but, and some of them struggled a bit because of cut hours and stuff. But, so we had a few payment arrangements and stuff we needed to do. But by and large, most of them paid their rent because there's just nothing else to find out there. A lot of the property management companies closed their doors to the public, and they're still closed. We did close for about a month, but we still had our receptionist there. She just wasn't, we weren't allowing the general public to come into the office. It was just a safety thing for our staff, but she's still there working the whole time. Our bookkeeper came in and worked the whole time. So we've just kind of kept moving right along through the whole craziness. So this is, as many years in real estate as I've had, this is the strangest market that I have seen this year. This year is just bizarre. Obviously there were a lot of changes that none of us were expecting, and this year has just been bizarre on many levels. It's like the year of no. So there was no this, there was no that, there was no nothing. But there was still real estate. People have to live somewhere. So it was a very bizarre year in real estate. Trying to figure out recovering from this year for our area and trying to predict what's going to happen next year is obviously proving difficult. There are some things that I can see, where jobs are still being brought in. There's massive industrial and stuff that are still happening, and obviously online sales and so forth are going like crazy. So, Chewy.com, Amazon, having and FedEx, all of that stuff being in our area, having opened up things there. Those were like hiring like crazy all throughout. And now we've got, Dollar Tree is opening a massive distribution center as well. So, that's going to open up so many more jobs as well. So, it's just kind of interesting to see where we're at, what we've been through this year, and try to figure out where we're going from here. And I think you will be very interested to see how much real estate changes over the course of the next 6 months to a year. I think, especially here in Marion County, I think it'll be very, very interesting to watch. Definitely, if you own real estate, even a vacant lot right about now, you are sitting in some pretty good shoes. More and more lots are going to be sold, especially, I think, in Marion Oaks area. just because of the distribution center coming in, and also because they're opening it up to 42, and that will be a great way to get down to the villages. So that's going to open up more jobs down in the villages and stuff, and not just more jobs, but more access to the jobs in the villages. So before, if you lived in Marion Oaks, it was very difficult to go, you know, up and around and, you know, whatever in order to get down there. So should be interesting. Should be very interesting. So today was yet another day where there was a whole slew of pending sales and closed sales, and from this morning, I think I checked at about 11 a.m. on MLS, and there was like 13 active listings, and those were all of Marion County, like 13 new listings. It was all of Marion County, and that includes commercial, vacant lots, rentals, everything. 13 new listings. And then we had, at like 11 o'clock this morning, we had like 33 pending. And then a whole slew of closed sales as well. So you can't, like, you know, if you just keep taking out the houses out of the mix and not putting houses in as listings, eventually you're going to get to the bottom of the jar. There's going to be nothing. So I'm just kind of curious what happens when we get to the bottom of that jar. Should be interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, which I'm sure you do if you're actually thinking of buying or selling a home right now, but if you have any questions, just give me a phone call or an email. My phone number is 352-817-1600, or you can go ahead and throw me an email, which is my first name, my last name, at gmail.com. So AndreaProeber at gmail.com. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.